All right, let's move on here to Antonio Williams, a guy story I was not very high on. He is the 7th pick of the 3rd round, but I love this landing spot. This is one of the best ones we've had, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is an early 3rd round pick, so it is a day 2 pick, but it's the first wide receiver drafted in the 3rd round. I think this is both a depth piece and it fills a hole for them, right? So they re-signed Traylon Burks. They added Diami Brown. They've got Van Jefferson there. All those are just Jags. They're all Jags. So they have a desperate need for a wide receiver 2 opposite Terry McLaurin, who is entering his age 31 season, by the way. Yet to be seen whether Antonio Williams can step up into that number 2 role. But if he does, the runway is free and clear if he ends up taking that job. There's a lot to like about this landing spot. There's a lot to like about the player, too. You know, he dealt with a number of injuries at Clemson, but when he was healthy, he was one of the best wide receivers on the field. Freshman All-American, 21 touchdowns in his career. I don't really like the guys that feel the need to play through injury. I guess some people like that it shows toughness. I'd rather a guy just take a seat down, get healthy. But, I mean, you know, teams like that. So there's tons of opportunity for him. He's just got to step up and grab the bull by the horns.
If they send Brandon Ayuk, does this change it all for you? Because Ayuk can play all over the field, and I think they're going to sign Ayuk, whenever that is. It might not be for a couple months because the Niners are saying, fuck you, ex-girlfriend. You're going to be homeless for a little while. That's what they're doing with Ayuk. But Ayuk is probably going there. That's the destination that makes most sense, right? So does it change it for you with Williams a little bit, or Williams going to be the slot guy regardless?
It does change things for me a little bit, like we talked about with who was that one? With Juwan Jennings going to Minnesota. You don't add a talent of Brandon Ayuk's caliber and it not affect guys, especially a rookie. So yeah, I do. It does change things for me on Williams, but we don't know what Brandon Ayuk is in this stage in his career. He hasn't played football in a really long time. He's obviously dealing with some issues that he needs to work through with the organization, San Francisco, and we don't know what his rehab was like. There were rumors that he was blowing off his rehab from a torn ACL. So it does change things. I think you have to be a little trepidatious if and when they sign Ayuk, but you know, we'll see what Ayuk actually ends up being in the NFL.
Dakota, he's the Niners expert. If Ayuk doesn't show up, the Niners can keep him off roster all season. And you know what? Fuck him. Brandon Ayuk said fuck you to the Niners for no reason at all. I don't know what he did there. What did they do to him? Like, Deebo Samuel was the one that should have been pissed because they used him at running back and fucked his legs up. Like, they did nothing to Brandon Ayuk. They only paid him way more than anyone else was willing to pay him. So fuck you, Brandon Ayuk. Last thought on Antonio Williams here. I don't like the player. Like I said, I didn't have him in my top 15, but he is a good slot merchant, and that's exactly what this team needs. We saw for a while there, Zach Ertz, essentially, Terry McLaurin, the year he went off, it was mostly on yards and touchdowns, right? It wasn't a high target share, and Zach Ertz and him were pretty even in catches. And Zach Ertz is not on the team, or he is in the team, but he's coming off an ACL. He's super old. So Chikakonkwo, who is fine, but it's not a target earner, like Antonio Williams could be the second target in this offense. And that's valuable. And you're looking at a guy that didn't have great draft capital, like I said, 3rd round, but he's not a household name. And I think he's going to be overlooked. This depth chart is terrible, Story. It's terrible. And if everyone loves Jaden Daniels, yes, I know it's mostly because his rushing ability, but someone's going to catch the ball. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards or 3,700 yards. He's going to throw for 25 touchdowns. Someone has to get it. It's not all Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I agree. Like I mentioned, the guys that are on the roster now, and it's all. I mean, I like Burks coming out, but he's a Jag. They're all Jags, so you've got every opportunity in the world. And I like the talent. I think it's an outstanding landing spot. I really like Antonio Williams. I like what I saw on tape. I like his metrics. I think there's a ton of opportunity. You know, we do have to remember it's still a 3rd round rookie, so we can't go anointing these guys as the next coming yet. But let's see what happens in training camp.
Well, let's move on to my boy, Malachi Fields, 3rd round, 10th overall in the 3rd rounds. Higher than you thought he was going to go, Story, because you didn't have him on any of your boards. I had him as wide receiver 10 because I've always loved Malachi Fields. This guy's a true baller. They've been talking him up. Surprise, surprise. And there's a lot of noise about Malik Neighbors, shout out Mouth, and it seems accurate. I didn't realize that he didn't have his surgery for a month and a half after the injury. So it's essentially a week 10 ACL. He's probably not ready for the start of the year. And if he is, he's going to be limited. So, yeah, they have Darius Slayton. They have, Isaiah Likely. There's some guys there. But Malachi Fields, they traded up to get him. That's a nice plus. As much as we didn't like Antonio Williams' draft capital, like Malachi Fields went earlier than most people projected. And the Giants targeted him because they need a big boy in the room. And this is a big boy in the room. And Jackson Dart's skill set matches very nicely with Malachi Fields' story.
Yeah, I think it's a good landing spot. I don't quite understand what Joe Schoen means by power forward. Like that's, these guys come up with weird terms like the Joker role or power forward or, whatever. And it doesn't really mean, let's see what it means, in OTAs. And
it means red zone targets. It means red zone targets. That's how I read that.
Okay. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. They like him. They obviously like him. Now, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but they have said that he plays a lot faster in pads. They gave up a decent amount. Like, I think more than they probably should have to move up to take him. So I think they're confident in his ability. And the Malik Neighbors thing, I was concerned about it back around the Super Bowl when he was still around crutches, and he should have been way past that. Everything we've heard is he's getting there, but we usually hear these guys are way ahead of schedule. So by this point, it's all hyperbole. It doesn't really matter. But if you're not ahead of schedule, you're behind schedule. That's just the nature of these kind of things in the NFL. Like there's opportunity. They were looking for a big body outside guy opposite Malik Neighbors. And, they got the downfield guys that can take the top off in Darius Slayton and what's his name from Atlanta, Darnell Mooney. So there's other guys there, but different types of receivers, different playmakers. There's opportunity. As much as I didn't particularly like the talent, I can't deny that the landing spot's good.
The only issue I have, and I do love the talent, the issue I have is the power forward comment, and, that is a nice, valuable role, right? The jump ball guy, the little fade route guy, the guy that's going to get targeted if he has single coverage in the end zone. It's Jackson Darts. Although he is an aggressive quarterback, what does Jackson Dart do inside the 8 to 10-yard line? He fucking pulls the ball down. So how many less, end zone throws will Jackson Dart have than, say, a guy like Baker Mayfield? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to take the ball. And also, Harbaugh is going to want to run the ball in the red zone. So, there'll be some good matchups. But in terms of redraft, as much as I love Malachi Fields, off him in redraft. I don't see any upside there. It's going to be a different version of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, if that makes sense, right? A guy that you just never know when to start. He's not going to be a PPR guy. I just don't see the upside of Malachi Fields. In Dynasty, I don't hate it because you're tied to Jackson Dart and you're playing alongside Malik Neighbors, which is really nice. Like, this dude can dominate single coverage. He can be. I comped him to Kenny Galladay. I do like him, but it's not a great. I think I'm lower on the spot than you are.
Well, I mean, there's pros to his landing spot. I will be the first to admit it. But as I mentioned, when we talk about Stribling, like beyond Stribling, every single one of these guys, you can just cross off your redraft board unless there's an injury in camp and somebody needs to step up to fill that hole. This might be it for New York. Like if Neighbors, Schoen came out and said that they're hoping that he's ready for training camp and that they don't know. Like, it's basically we don't know if he's going to be there dressed up as optimism. I don't think the market has caught up with Neighbors. Where's Neighbors going now? Second round? Third round?
18 ADP.
God. So middle of the second round. Like let's see where things are at in preseason, when training camp starts. And if Neighbors isn't there, I think you can kind of keep an eye on Malachi Fields. Until then, he's off my board. Like, I'm not drafting literally anybody after Dejon Stribling, even as a flyer in fantasy.
Well, we're going to get some other guys here, and I think I'm going to have you eat your words, but Miles says, hopefully it means fire the GM. Schoen's a piece of shit. Scatabo is good. Fade Neighbors. Trust me, Neighbors back week 3. And I guess with what I see, what he's saying, I think it's week 3 at earliest, if I'm correct, Mouth. Would you agree with that story? I think there's a chance he's back week 1, but if he's back week 1, it's not going to be full go. And that would also be a mistake, right? On that field, that graveyard of a field they play in there, you bring him back on a team that has, there's hope and optimism in the Giants, but does anyone think the Giants will win the Super Bowl this year? Neighbors is 23 years old. He just came off a major injury. Rushing him back would be a major mistake.
Yeah, it would be a
Let's
major
not
mistake. I
do
mean, there's always a ramp up period. Like there's a dip in production for guys that come back from ACL tears. And Harbaugh's he likes running the ball. So Scatabo, I think all systems go for Scatabo, man. That guy, he's going to be fully cleared for camp. He's going to be ready to go. They upgraded the offensive line. They didn't draft a running back, despite that looking like a really strong possibility. So all systems go for Cam Scatabo. Like if they're going to have to kind of hide some of the passing game deficiencies behind running the ball, and that's going to come down to Jackson Dart and Cam Scatabo.
Faded, how do we feel about Jeremy Bernard? We just talked about that in the earliest segments. I will touch on it, although I do want to have this video out for individual release. So we don't like it this year. He is a Steeler. We love the landing spot for the type of player he is, the grit, the grime, the blocking, the yak stuff. But Michael Pittman is the two there. DK Metcalf's the one there. They're going to use Pat Freiermuth. They also have 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers. So out.
DK Metcalf is the two there. Man, it's Pittman's show. Metcalf is
shut the hell up.
Over the hill.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Okay, DK Metcalf, more like DK Met Bowl, more like DK steak on a plate. Well done.
Decaf? Can we just call him Decaf now? He's not
Sure.
DK. He's Decaf.
He's not DK Met Bowl anymore.
Dev Clips, what do you think that needs to happen for the Browns offense to get going? Also chatted about this earlier, but we're going to hit every question on the show. Appreciate your comment. Shedeur Sanders needs to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. We love the weapons as much as you didn't like the landing spot story. Concepcion in Boston, Jerry Jeudy, if he stays in the roster, Harold Fannon's awesome. And I love Dylan Sampson and Judkins. So the offensive line got to upgrade. The drafts have been good the last 2 years. So what is it going to take for the Browns to be a functional offense? When I say functional, top half or top 20 even.
I don't know, Jimmy Haslam dying. Like they're draft warriors, right? Like these guys, we always hear about how great draft that the Browns have, and yet what materializes on the field? A pretty good defense, and the offense is woefully inept year in and year out. So I don't know. Like you need a new quarterback though, desperately, in order for this to take the next step, and that means a top 20 offense.
I still have a little hope for Shedeur, even though apparently on the YouTube shorts, I got a bunch of shit about me hating on Shedeur, even though I'm clearly in a battle with Dakota and he loves Deshaun Watson. He thinks I'm a Shedeur guy, but the Shedeur guys thinks I hate Shedeur because the Shedeur guys love Shedeur Sanders, dude. They love him like Jalen Hurts fans love Jalen Hurts. It's wild.
Okay.
I don't get it.
I don't see it either. But, again, none of those guys are good. Like, nobody on that roster currently is a startable. You're telling me there's not other guys that are better than these guys that are hanging around that, signing somebody off a practice squad would be better than having Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders starting, if you ask me.
Caleb Douglas, Dolphins, 11th pick in the 3rd round. What the fuck is this pick? And give me I don't know much about Caleb Douglas, so this is a head scratcher for me. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I like Chris Bell a lot. You like Chris Bell even more than me, but Chris Bell was taken after him, but he has coming off an ACL. And I think the guy to keep an eye on here is Kevin Coleman Jr. out of Missouri, right? Would you rather have Kevin Coleman or this Caleb Douglas clown?
I mean, it's hard to rule anything out at this point in the season. Like Caleb Douglas, like there is a complete dearth of pass catching options there. Now they did get some protection from Malik Willis in the 1st round, so yay to that. But like everybody has an opportunity. This is a wide open depth chart when it comes to wide receivers. So Douglas got nice size speed combination, but he's a super raw receiver. Like Texas Tech. They relied heavily on their defense last year, so it's tough to take too much from what we saw. I don't know, man. Like people are harping on the 49ers for drafting Stribling so early. I think this is a bigger reach than the Stribling pick because at least Dejon Stribling fits the scheme. I don't know what they're trying to do here with Caleb Douglas. This is like I know like he was probably like the 25th consensus receiver, and he's what? 10 or 11 off the board.
12. Yeah, he is. I think it's safe to say he's a fucking clown.
I don't know who Bozo is. What is he, a clown? Is he a clown? What, are you kidding me? Well, what is he?
Yes, he's a clown.
All right, so what's the big deal? There's millions of clowns.
All right, just forget it.
Forget me? You should forget it. You're living in the past, man. You hung up on some clown from the 60s, man.
So is it safe to say you want Kevin Coleman, if this is best ball, a last round pick, Kevin Coleman Jr. over Caleb Douglas? I don't even know.
Yeah, at least you saw Kevin Coleman perform at 2 different SEC programs, right? Caleb Douglas performed in a $28 million Texas Tech program that fell woefully short of expectations. I shouldn't say that. Let me clarify. I don't want that on the record. They certainly outperformed expectations, but once they got into the college football playoffs, they fell short.
I want to kind of breeze through these next 3 guys, and I'm going to highlight some guys after this. So Zachariah Branch, a guy that I was super high on. I cooled towards the end of the process, not even because of the arrest, but to the Falcons, 15th pick in the 3rd round. So this is a team that needs a wide receiver with juice, right? Like there's not a lot there. Jahan Dotson, I really like, actually. I think he's going to start the year as number 2. But Zach Branch has that skill set to carve out a role, and I definitely like it more with Michael Penix. For his downfield stuff, which we still haven't seen in college, and I don't think he's a PPR guy. So this is a good pick in real life. Do you think there's any juice at all in fantasy?
Not in fantasy. I do think it's a good pick in real life. Now, they do move Drake London quite around a lot. Like, he's really adept out of the slot, and Pitts just signed his franchise tender today, so he's not going anywhere. I think Dotson probably plays that flanker role. So this guy is a slot merchant first and foremost. Now, he's probably going to be their kick and punt returner. So if you play in a league that has return yards, he's a really good late round pick, I think, in that regard. But in terms of like redraft best ball, I mean, he's got the speed to get downfield, but do you think that either Penix or Tua can realistically take advantage of that and push the ball downfield to him? I don't see it. And they need wide receiver help, but I don't think it was Zachariah Branch. I don't think he's a good fit there.
So Penix fits his upside more because Penix will push the ball downfield, but his skill set coming into the NFL fits more with Tua. Bubble boy, right? We call him Bubble Boy here. And Tua only throws bubbles, so that makes sense. I'm going to skip Jacoby Lane and pair him with Surratt later. Chris Brazzell, we can gloss over this one. Bad player, bad fit, bad. The Panthers just took another guy that they have missed on with 3 straight picks, right? It was literally Jonathan Mingo, it was Xavier Ogat, and it was Terrace Marshall. This is the same archetype of player they've missed on repeatedly, and they don't need this. They have Jalen Coker. They need a tight end. They need a fucking tight end. And take a tight end.
They should have taken a tight end. Like, all the tight ends that went off the board, and these guys decide not to take a tight end. Yeah, I mean, 6'4", he's a speedster, right? He's a big strider, like pass catching, downfield kind of guy. Now, there was some debate on our last show about how good of a deep ball passer that Bryce Young actually was last year. Some metrics said he was really good. Some metrics said he was mediocre. We know he was a good deep ball passer at Alabama. So Brazzell, can he take advantage of that? Is this a good pick in real life? Probably, right? Take the top off the defense, open things up for Tetero and McMillan in the running game. Is it good for Bryce Young? Probably. Is it going to be a fantasy success? No, I don't think so. This archetype rarely ever works out well in the NFL. And the counting stats that he put up at Tennessee in that Mickey Mouse offense, it doesn't move the needle for me. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but yeah, it's not. You're right. They should have drafted a tight end. Max Clare unavailable at that point? I guess he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was available. No, he was not available. But Ted Hurst, 20th pick in the 3rd round to the Buccaneers. So I love this player story. I think we were both higher on Ted Hurst than consensus. I definitely was. This is not a Mike Evans replacement. Anyone that tells you that it is just that they don't look at the guy's body because he weighs 210 pounds, which he's a big boy, 6'4", 210. Not Mike Evans, but another body in this receiver room with McMillan, with Godwin, with Mbuka. I like it. I don't know how it's going to take an injury, right? But we've seen a lot of injuries with, Chris Godwin can't stay healthy. McMillan can't stay healthy. And I think it's a dart throw, right? It's not worthy in best ball. I got to keep an eye on because he's a little raw playing at Georgia State, But if there's an injury, and this is a late season kind of thing, a guy you might be able to trust if there is 1 to 2 injuries in this receiving core.
Yeah, potentially, but it's going to take a couple of injuries for him to get there. It's a depth piece, and there's nothing wrong with having a capable wide receiver on the roster. But Egbuka, McMillan, Godwin, like they've got a slew of wide receivers there. So Ted Hurst, I liked him. He's a big body wide receiver, but he's a small program. Like this is a long line. He's the latest in a long line of tall, fast wide receivers from really small programs who generate buzz. He was generating buzz in the pre-draft process. The landing spot for him is not good because of the competition in front of him, but it's a depth piece for Tampa. It's a good addition to their wide receiver room. It's a nothing burger for fantasy football, unfortunately.
Miles says Falcons keep drafting felons in partnership with Fulton County Jail's workout rehab program. They just pretend to get arrested for the newspaper. And this is kind of a comment on the Pierce pick, which was always, and he actually played awesome as a rookie, but trading up to get Pierce, I'm not too worried about the off the field stuff with Zach Branch, but Falcons are a bad franchise. And I endorse this pick with Branch. I feel like it's a better real life fit than fantasy fit though, early on.
Yeah. Again, keep an eye on your league settings. If you get points for return yards, Zachariah Branch is probably a really good pick in that regard, but you'll have a handful of games where Branch, where they're double covering Drake London and Branch manages to get loose underneath and breaks, long touchdown. He goes 4 for 96 and a touchdown, and he has a really good fantasy day. People talk about it, but it will not be consistent.
Why is David Njoku still a free agent story? Like Buccaneers a good fit. I feel like the Ravens and Buccaneers are the best fits.
Didn't he just meet with the Chargers?
The Chargers are an awful fit because they have Charlie Kohler and they have Gatson. Like I don't want that. I would like the Buccaneers. I would definitely love the Ravens, but Buccaneers are solid. David says drop Terrence Ferguson or Max Clare in Dynasty. Story, who do you want? Same team. Both have second round draft capital. Ferguson played pretty well last year. Who do you want?
Yeah, that one's tough. 2 different programs, right? Oregon versus Ohio State. 2 different styles. These guys are like opposite. Oh man, I think I'd take the shot at Max Clare. I think I would. I like his pass catching profile, but he's probably going to be more consistently on the field because of his blocking ability versus Terrence Ferguson. So give me the guy that's going to be that we know is going to probably get on the field.
You agree though? This year it's clearly Ferguson, right? Ferguson this year, Claire long term. Ferguson is the downfield. He's a steam stretcher.
I thought this was a dynasty question.
Yeah, no, it was. I was just saying, like for this year, it's Ferguson. Dynasty, it's close, but you're saying Claire?
Yeah, it's close, but I would go like Claire because of the blocking ability. This year, though, Terrence Ferguson. We cannot forget that just because we've had 3 years in a row with rookies, tight ends, and being productive doesn't mean that it's still not a tough position to transition from the NFL or from college to the NFL.
Shout out Jonathan. We appreciate you. Jonathan is a fanatic in the Patreon. He is in the Dynasty League. Jonathan, hopefully you joined the Dynasty League. We have a couple spots. You're in the Dynasty League, but you haven't joined the actual league I created. So hopefully maybe you did. I didn't see. Appreciate you though, my dude. So I'm going to skip over Xavier Thomas to the Bears. That's just a stupid pick. Let's talk about Chris Bell for a second. We talked a little bit about the other Miami receivers. They didn't take any high draft capital guys. They needed it because they have literally Jalen Tolbert and Greg Dulcich as their like best receiver and best tight end. But Chris Bell was a nice spot there because they're trying to lose. He's coming off an ACL. They can ease him into the action. Is there a world where Chris Bell is an ideal last bench spot in redraft? I'm not talking dynasty. I'm talking redraft. Chris Bell coming off the ACL. Would he be the number 1 there? Just because we love Chris Bell out of Louisville. He's got a lot of receive rights to his game.
If he can get back to pre-injury ability, like he's got plenty of upside. The thing is, that's as good of a spot for Chris Bell as it is for Miami because they're not going to rush him back because they're not a contender in 2026. he makes a lot of sense for them there. They've got tons of pressing needs, so you might as well let this guy develop, let him sit for a little while. I would be hard-pressed to find a spot for him on a regular redraft roster, but if you have deep benches, he's probably worth a flyer, sticking him on and seeing if the injury, if he comes along faster, because he at Louisville. Go back, you watched the tape at Louisville, right? Like the guy is certainly a playmaker.
Yeah, and you got the discount, the same as the Nick Singleton discount, right? Like the discount from the injury, and he didn't get the test. And Chris Bell would have been a guy that, with his size speed combo, I think Chris Bell and Jeremy Bernard are the closest to Debo we've seen, not just in this draft, in years. And we got kind of screwed by not seeing that. He got screwed in his draft capital, and this is a great spot, like I mentioned, for the tanking Dolphins. They're going to ease him in. So this is what we want, though, for our wide receiver 6 in our roster, right? We don't want a guy that's going to be, maybe he'll play if there's an injury. Like Bell will play when he's healthy. He has every opportunity to be the number 1 if he can get up to speed. Yeah, and that's what we want from a guy that has major upside.
The nice thing, I shouldn't say the nice thing, it was a late season injury. So don't be afraid after a week or two, if he's still not on the field, go ahead and cut him, because at that point you might as well be using that roster spot for rotating out those backup running backs. So a lot of it depends on how quickly he can get back from this.
I'm talking deep league, and thank you GT for the super. We love GT around here. Jeff Caldwell, 6'5", runs a 4.3. This is your guy story. Had the best combine, perfect 10, made 53-man roster for the Chiefs. I don't like the spot for the Chiefs. It's tied to Mahomes, because they're going to give Worthy every chance to succeed, guys. They have to. They spent a second-round pick on Worthy. But we do like Jeff Caldwell, and it could be worse, right, for Jeff Caldwell?
I mean, it could be a lot worse. I guess it depends on how what you think about Mahomes' injury, because if you start to think that he'll be on track for OTAs, which is the end of this month, then you've got real chance that the Chiefs get back to a prolific passing game. I tend to think that he's not there yet, and they're going to hide behind the running game to start the year. They're committed to week 1. So anyway, back to Caldwell. He's got a real chance to make the 53-man roster. I really do think that he brings too much to the table for them to ignore. Big body wide receiver, nice frame. He was a standout in Division II. Since Cincinnati, he really productive there. He ran a 4.3 whatever 40-yard dash. His combine was really great there. I'm surprised he went undrafted. Realistically, good landing spot. I hope that he sticks with a team.
David's got 2 comments here. We gotta kind of pick up the show a little bit. We have a couple guys I want to talk about. Well, Coleman surpassed Harvey. I have Harvey in Dynasty, and I was thinking of taking Coleman with my 2-2 turn in Dynasty. What do you guys think I should do? He also says it's Chris Bell worth a 2-2 pick in Dynasty. Before I get to the question, David, you got to join the community, because I will draft your team with you, bro. I do that for any community member, especially Dynasty. It's hard for me to do with the redraft stuff because I have 35 leagues. I draft myself, so the timing is weird. But Dynasty drafts happen in times where I have nothing going on. So I will draft your team with you. We will answer all these questions in super in depth. So go to the website, go to the link in the description, join the community, get in the Discord, and we will answer all these in much more in depth. You can give us your roster and give you even better answers, but we can touch on them right now. Coleman will not surpass Harvey. I know, Story, we had this argument the other day. You love Coleman. I'm not a Coleman guy. You hate Harvey. Coleman. He's not surpassing him.
I don't love.
Well, you hate Harvey.
I don't hate Harvey. I like I like what Coleman brings to the Broncos. He's good at everything. He's not outstanding at anything. I think that Harvey, he was very inefficient as a running back this year, and they're going to do everything they can to try to minimize that. This stinks of a committee. I don't like it at all for Harvey.
A three-way committee. A three-way committee. Not just a committee. A three-way committee.
So
I get it.
Yeah, because Dobbins, is Coleman a 1-for-1 replacement for Dobbins? No, I think even at this stage, Dobbins is a better running back than Coleman. But the problem is Dobbins can't stay healthy. So
Dobbins is a better runner. He's not a better running back.
Fair. Okay,
better runner.
He's a better runner.
That's why when I said the draft capital thing in the short I sent you, when I told you to suck my dick story, it was I was saying that RJ Harvey was a second-round pick from Sean Payton, and Coleman's a fourth-round pick. J.K. Dobbins is a depth signing. Now, I'm not trying to tell you anyone that RJ Harvey's going to have more than a 50% snap share, because I feel like he'll be at 50. Dobbins will be at probably 38 to 40, and Coleman will be at 10 to start the year. He'll get the short yardage back, which that actually kills J.K. Dobbins, because you don't want a guy, you saw this with Bucky Irving, right? You don't want the guy getting the carries with the 20s, like getting no goal line carries. RJ Harvey will be the receiving down back, and he was elite at that, and also awesome in the open field. I like Harvey. His value in best ball, especially pick 90, dude. What are we talking about? That's fucking value on a good offense. But redraft, like, what are you getting from Harvey? You're getting a scat back,
right? Like scat back plus maybe, but I think the touchdown equity is gone. Like Coleman's as good as a goal of a red zone back as RJ Harvey is. Like I think they like having the option there, but
I think this is a fade. This is a fade all around. Like in redraft, I'm fading this backfield. In best ball, I'm taking my shots on RJ Harvey. That's the guy I'm taking shots on. And redraft, I don't want anything to do with any of these guys, because that's fringe area. I want Blake Corum over RJ Harvey.
That's fair.
The chance league winner, right?
There's also rumors that it's going to be more of a 50-50 timeshare in LA this year, although I'll believe that when I see it.
Taj in here. What's going on, Taj? Haven't seen you in a bit. Is it more realistic that Dallas makes Taj Brooks? Yeah. Is it more realistic that Dallas makes the playoffs, or the 49ers miss the playoffs?
Dude, I think the 49ers have been sliding quite a bit. Like if they didn't luck into Brock Purdy, can you imagine where the 49ers would be right now? Like,
well, don't say luck into him, because they're smart enough franchise to draft him. Come on.
Okay. They draft.
Well, come on.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. A broken clock is right.
No, so this whole thing is just Kyle Shanahan. No, bro. Kyle Shanahan's good. In terms of this question, what's more realistic?
I think Lynch is terrible at his job.
I think they're both pretty realistic, and it's not because I hate the Niners. I just think that the fact that they are third best team in that division, and that no one, even if you're a Niners fan, and Dakota, shout out to you, I don't think that you can make the argument that they're better than the Rams or better than the Seahawks. Seahawks are the defending champs, and then the Rams are the favorites. So they have to have, everything has to break their way, right? In terms of the Dallas making the playoffs, I think they have a good chance to make the playoffs. So this is a tough one. What's your answer, Story?
My answer is more realistic that Dallas makes the playoff, because in a league where you have tanking, even though it's not outright tanking, there's plenty of tanking. It's easier to make the playoffs in a format where that rewards 7 teams making the playoffs versus missing the playoffs. It's more difficult to miss the playoffs when you got teams like Arizona, Cleveland, Miami, New York, etc. Especially like the 49ers. As much as I don't like the organization, Kyle Shanahan's still a really good coach. And this
now it's official. Story doesn't only just hate coaches; he hates organizations, guys.
You can't
every organization, but like
you cannot tell me that you can't sit there with a straight face and say that John Lynch is a smart man, because he's not.
I mean, he's better than average. Get the fuck out of here. Well, the history, man. Get the fuck out of here.
What history? Like Jordan James, Tyrod what's his name? Tyrod Davis Price or whatever.
Story. Your hate is just seeping through the screen.
What is happening here?
I haven't any idea, honestly.
I'm giving Frank a handy under the table.
That is true. Look, Snail, back off, because you're just mashing it now. It's not...
For God's sakes, Gail.
Mom, I'm sexually active now. Get over it.
33 years old. You're supposed to be sexually active. You're not supposed to be fondling your uncle under a table.
Whoa, we're not blood related.
Dude, that's
I think my goal is, as much as I love Sonny, my goal is to have Story just watch the goddamn show, because you've seen so many epic clips, because it shows all time, that I put these in here just to fucking get in your subconscious to be like, hey, I should probably watch this epic show, because you love Seinfeld. This is funnier than Seinfeld in a way. And it's Seinfeld's an all-time, it's a GOAT, right? But like it's again, Seinfeld on crack is what Sonny is.
That was Chloe from 24. Maryland,
you would only know that. So yeah, you hate the
Maryland
Niners. Dakota says Story hates Niners. Niners are top 3 to win the Super Bowl. Well, no, they're not top 3 to win the Super Bowl because they're like top 7 to win the Super Bowl. Because I have the Brock Purdy 20-1 bet. They are 17-1 to win the Super Bowl, and Brock Purdy's 20-1 to win the MVP. So I would say they're 8th or 9th. They're ahead of the Bears somehow, which is a little weird just based on the division, right?
they have the 8th best odds to win the Super Bowl. The 49ers.
I said 7th at the top of my head, man.
Yeah.
Fucking GOAT. I'm the GOAT.
You know who the top is? Who's got the best odds?
Mal says.
Thank you, Mal.
The Rams.
Yes, the Rams. But yes, thank you, Mal. 49ers.
I know what I'm doing.
Too.
Missed the goal, getting super, bro. Oh shit, we got the goal. I didn't do that. I owe another chug here. We'll do that here in 1 second. Purdy MVP bet is basically donating money to Vegas. I don't think so, man. 20-1. Story, do you agree with that? That it's donating money to Vegas 20-1? Because Brock Purdy did play like an MVP for a 7-game stretch. And let's go back 2 years ago when it was him versus Lamar as the front runners late into the season. That's not donating money. Trevor Lawrence has a 16-1 odds. Caleb Williams is ahead of him. Like, Brock Purdy is tied to Kyle Shanahan. Let's not fucking get over our skis here. That's a great bet. Story, is that a great bet?
In order to win the MVP, you have to have an outlier season in touchdown rate, right? You can't, especially with Purdy, who doesn't have the rushing ability. Yeah, he'll scramble every once in a while, but he's not a rushing quarterback. So you have to have a Matthew Stafford absurd 7.9% touchdown rate or whatever you had last year. Is that in the range of outcomes for Purdy? Yes, it is, but I would say it's a very small percentage chance. Probably, I wouldn't personally put my money on Brock Purdy to win the MVP, especially because even though McCaffrey's not the runner that he used to be, he is still, one of the best running backs in the league. And so if he's not throwing for 44 touchdowns next year, he's not winning the MVP. I just don't see that happening.
You also made a bet that Ty Simpson was going 2nd overall in the draft. You're telling me this is a bad bet?
Yeah, but
be consistent.
Like, for where he was expected to go, 13 wasn't that far off. Like, all things considered.
Well, hold on. Let me just preface it like this. Should Brock Purdy be the 13th odds to win the MVP? Should there be 12 quarterbacks ahead of Brock Purdy?
I could probably name 12.
No fucking way, bro.
I could probably name 12 quarterbacks that I think
Trevor Lawrence should be ahead of him. Trevor Lawrence
Trevor Lawrence ran in 57,000 touchdowns last year, so that's part of it.
9 touchdowns, 9 rushing touchdowns. Come on, dude. Let's not be stupid.
I got 100-1 odds on Ty Simpson to be the 2nd overall pick, for the record. And I'm well aware that was a donation.
Yeah, it didn't win.
No, I'm well aware that was a donation.
This is not a donation, dude. It's guess what? If the Niners start off 4-1 and Brock Purdy has we'll call it a 15-2 touchdown interception ratio, which is in the realm of possibilities, this bet goes to 8-1, right? It goes to 8-1. That's why you make this bet. You make this. This is the best long shot bet. Don't listen to Story. I love you, Story. You're not always right, and I'm not saying I'm right, but you're off on this one, man. Trevor Lawrence ahead of Brock Purdy with what's going on there in Jacksonville. What are you talking about? Are you smoking crack?
20-1, man. Like, I would need at least 30-1 to consider Brock Purdy.
So Jaden Daniels has better odds than Brock Purdy. Really?
Again, if you don't
have to win 12 games. You have to win 12 games to get this MVP. You have to.
You also have to throw. If you're a pocket passer, you have to throw for 45 touchdowns, and that's probably not in the range of outcomes for Brock Purdy. It's not in the range of outcomes for Jaden Daniels either, but he supplements that on the ground. Although I think there's still a bias towards pass.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to touch on a couple more guys before I get you off here. And I'm going to get you off after the show too, if you know what I mean. Brennan Thompson is going to be a nothing. He's just he's a 2-2 Atwell in that offense. I want to talk about Elijah Surratt with the 15th pick in the 4th round to the Ravens. I love this pick. I love Surratt. The report coming out, he's going to play the slot. I feel like if Lamar stays healthy, the floor for Surratt is like 4 to 6 touchdowns because they didn't replace Isaiah Likely. Rashad Bateman's bad. This is Elijah Surratt all fucking day, dude. I think his upside is 10 touchdowns. Am I crazy for saying this?
I mean, he had 15 touchdowns at Indiana last year, led all of Division I as far as I know. I mean, they prioritized adding pass catchers. They added Jacoby Lane around earlier, which was, I think, surprising. I don't think anybody thought Lane was going over Surratt, but I mean, this guy excels in the red zone. Like, he gets open, he's got strong hands, he's strong at the catch point. They're trying to get Lamar Jackson back to his MVP passing days. Like, it's the first time they've drafted multiple wide receivers in the same draft since in the last 5 years, something like that. So, yeah.
Well, I wanted to bring that up because we both prefer Surratt over Jacoby Lane, right? For fantasy, like Lane went higher than him in the draft, but Surratt is a better day one prospect.
Yeah, no, Lane will be a nice addition to the Ravens. The nice real world ad for him there, but he's not a consistent wide receiver. Like, dropped passes, kind of lazy in some breaks, lazy on some routes, sloppy on some breaks. So for fantasy, it's got to hit, but I think it can hit with Elijah Surratt. Who's he got to beat out? Rashad Bateman and Tylan Wallace? I don't think that's too tall of a task to overcome there. You got to remember though.
Agreed.
Like, not a big speedster, so you're really banking on touchdowns with Surratt.
Yeah, but that's exactly the bet. Timothy says Jaden Daniels MVP and backed in the NFC Championship game. I'll save Super Bowl talk until the season starts. Purdy has to stay healthy. All I have to say to you is if you're telling me that Purdy has to stay healthy, but you're making a Jaden Daniels argument, like that's just Timothy, thank you for the comment. That's just not like that's not a great that's like having a fat wife and then just ripping on a buddy for having a fat wife. Like, I can't tell my wife is a supermodel, but she weighs 180, but your wife's a fucking pig and she weighs 188. No, they're both pigs. And Brock Purdy, I know it's been a kind of a nagging thing with him. Every year he misses 3 or 4 games, which takes. Thank you, Brock Purdy. The 3 or 4 games takes him out of the MVP running, though. Officially, that does. But I'm sorry, like if we're gonna rip on if we're talking about the Niners organization in a bad light, which blows my mind, and we're gonna be talking about the Commanders as a good organization. I can't believe the thing is Jaden Daniels did go there. I still can't believe that he went there, beat that Lions team that was destined for great things, and not just beat them. They destroyed the Lions team in that playoff game. But I like Jaden Daniels has more of a dynamic skill set. He could go nuclear, right, and get the MVP. Brock Purdy has the infrastructure that Jaden Daniels does not have. This has to be all on Jaden Daniels. If George Kittle comes back healthy, Brock Purdy is set for success. I'm not even a Brock Purdy guy. I just feel like 20-1 is just fucking free money, dude. It's not even the 20-1 story. It's the 13th lowest odds to win MVP, bro.
Again, I could probably name a dozen guys that I think deserve to have better odds than Brock Purdy. Like, so I think that's even. I don't think it's.
So Todd says, here we go: Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Stafford, Dak, May, Love, Caleb, Herbert. All would have better bet than Purdy. And I get that. I agree with those. That's 10 guys, though. What about the other 2, right? Like, we're looking at 13th. And who you left off there is we're talking about, I know for a fact, it's Trevor Lawrence, who should not be there. And Jordan Love, bro, that defense is too good. I want Brock Purdy over Jordan Love. Maybe I give you Justin Herbert. I give you Dak. I give you May.
What about Jared Goff? It's the same exact scenario.
Yeah, but I think Brock Purdy is more dynamic than Jared Goff. I like Jared Goff. Jared Goff's a statue, bro.
True.
Brock Purdy can give you 300 on the ground with 5 rushing touchdowns. That's a fantasy take.
Unless you're running for 650 yards and 8 touchdowns, like maybe not 8, but half a dozen touchdowns. 300. It doesn't matter whether it's 300 yards or it's 150 yards. It literally doesn't move the needle. So who's got a better chance of staying healthy, number one, and putting together a 14-win season? The Lions or the Purdy or Goff?
Timothy, I agree with what you're saying. Context is king. Jaden Daniels' play style, though, and his body type this was the worry coming out, man. And I love Jaden Daniels this year for fantasy. I love Jaden Daniels in general. Story, you're the biggest Jaden Daniels guy, period. But
I love Jaden Daniels.
Brock Purdy is in a system that made Jimmy Garoppolo go to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl, and Jimmy Garoppolo is trash. Right. That is my Brock Purdy argument.
But Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't even considered for the Heisman. Not the Heisman. I don't know why I said that. The MVP. that was weird. For the MVP. So what does that tell you? Like, a team goes to the Super Bowl, they absolutely dominate in the postseason. Then Shanahan gets cowardly like he always does in big games, and they lose.
Hey, I'm going to defend the bet. I made the bet. I'm going to defend it 20-1. I feel like it's a good bet. It is a good bet. And
you can admit that it was not. Dude,
it's 20-1. No, it's 20-1. It's not going to be a winner like it, but there's a chance. We've seen this before, and they're also not going to give the award to Lamar or Josh Allen again unless they go like beyond nuclear. We see this in the NBA with Jokic. Like, they're not going to give it. So if Brock Purdy equals those numbers and they win 13 games, 12 games, Brock Purdy's winning the MVP, dude.
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts at 35-1 and Brock Purdy at 20-1.
No, Jalen Hurts is probably right in the same range as Brock Purdy, bro.
I just looked it up. Jalen Hurts,
he's not
plus 3,500. Yep.
Maybe I like that too.
Yeah.
I hate Jalen Hurts.
Plus 3,500.
All right, hey, good discussion, Timothy. Thank you for your comments. Let's get to a couple more names before I get you off here. Skylar Bell, 4th round, 25th pick. We both are the highest on Skylar Bell in the world, me especially. Keon Coleman's done. He's still on the roster. He's done. I feel like it was a big overpay for Josh Palmer, right? So Josh Palmer is just kind of there, and Gadsden's fine, but like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the Josh Palmer on the Chargers. The tight ends are done, right? Like, they're done. Dawson Knox is just old, and Dalton Kincaid has a Todd Gurley type knee issue, which is not good. And they don't throw the ball to James Cook. So Skylar Bell is relevant, dude. He is relevant. He is that last spot in your bench guy that's going to be a third receiver on this team by week 4.
He's kind of redundant to Khalil Shakir, right? Similar qualities, ability to play in the slot, play outside. But the production at UConn, like, you cannot deny that he was a super productive guy. He was top 5 in yards, receptions, and touchdowns for was it top 5? Top 5 or top 10? Doesn't matter. Like, the only guy in FBS who was top 5 in all those categories. Yards after the catch, certain ability. He's relevant, but again, it's the Bills. It's still Joe Brady. Are we for certain that they know how to use their wide receivers correctly? That's the question that I have. So it's probably worth a stab if you got a deep bench, but be prepared to cut him, because again, like, Shakir, like, what are you getting out of Shakir realistically? A bye week fill-in these days? Like, are we going to get the same out of Skylar Bell? Like, how much upside is there realistically with these wide receivers?
What I love about Skylar Bell is if Shakir gets hurt, he's a slot. If DJ Moore gets hurt, he's taking DJ Moore's role because no one else can. So it's same reason I love Nick Singleton. He is a dual handcuff and also a guy that's going to see the field. And we just love the talent. We love the talent of Skylar Bell. And this is a last round pick, guys. We're talking about, this is wide receiver fucking 22 or whatever the hell it is in terms of the rookies taken in the draft. I don't have the exact number, but give me Skylar Bell all fucking day for upside.
Yeah,
I love it.
You need to have like 18 rounds in redraft in order to draft him. But assuming you have deep benches, he's definitely worth throwing on there for a few weeks and seeing what actually plays out in Buffalo.
And just keep your eye on the guy. Like, just look how the snap share is going. This could be, and I'm not going to compare it to Monroe St. Brown situation, but we saw that year, right, where it was like, the snap share just rose and rose and rose. And by the time it was week 6, he was at like 60%. And then next thing you know, it's 90%. And if Skylar Bell has the talent in our mind to not overtake Shakir, not overtake DJ Moore, but become a fixture in this offense. And if the tight ends are not staying healthy or producing, maybe they run more 3 wide receiver sets, and maybe, just maybe, in 2 wide receiver sets, he takes Shakir off the field, because he also doesn't play Shakir also they've been playing Keon Coleman over him. So
yeah, this kind of reminds me of the Bears situation last year with Luther Burden. Like a
Right.
super,
And
super
the draft
talented-
capital was different, but
well, draft capital was certainly different. Second round pick versus a what are we talking about now? 5th round pick for Skylar Bell? Doesn't matter.
yeah.
But super talented rookie coming in behind 2 established guys. There's probably snap share is going to increase as the weeks go on. Yeah.
Taj, thank you, my dude. What's more likely, Jake Ferguson breaking 10 tackles this season or Jalen Hurts completing over 50 passes over the middle of the field accurately? Jake Ferguson does not break any tackles, but Jalen Hurts cannot throw
Hurts hates throwing over the middle of the field. He hates throwing over the middle of the field. But
he also hates throwing to the like outside to the sideline. So he's got a very narrow area he throws the ball to.
But it still hurts because Jake Ferguson is literally not breaking tackles.
This is my TJ Hawkinson thing. I don't want to give this away because we have a dynasty draft coming up, but and a lot of these guys are in here listening. But like, I feel like TJ Hawkinson is Jake Ferguson, right? Like, what's the difference? And he is Dalton Schultz. They're all just bad at football. So the price point is the key. So I think it's probably Jalen Hurts, but I hate Jalen. Dude, I put a short out. And I try to do the rage bait thing and the clickbait thing of just saying Jalen Hurts is terrible. And as you know, I think he's pretty terrible. I think the word is Jalen Hurts is very overrated story, and we all agree with that on this channel. And people, dude, Jalen Hurts, people just freak out. They think he is the best. They think he's the best quarterback in the world. And my thing is, I always want Dak Prescott over Jalen Hurts. If you put any quarterback on that Eagles team, Nick Foles won a fucking Super Bowl, man. Like Jalen Hurts played great in those Super Bowls. But it's just, go back to his college days too, Oklahoma and Alabama. Like the guy has he ever had a subpar roster ever in the history of his life? Never.
He didn't just play great in those Super Bowls. He was the best player on the field in both of those.
Well, let's take that aside.
He's getting a lot
how
of
did he get there?
For issues that are above his head that start with the owner.
Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts? Who do you want?
For fantasy or real life?
Real life. Running your team. If it's the Raiders, the Raiders, you want Jalen Hurts on that team.
Yes, I do.
You.
Dak
what are you doing?
Dak Prescott can't. He's not a winner, man. He can't get this team over the hump. Like they can't.
He's on the Cowboys. He's not a winner. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry. You
Why?
Just had CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens last year, and what happened with that team?
Bad defense and offensive line kind of went to shit. I like this one. And Michael Trigg we trust. Next Seam Demon. We're both big Michael Trigg guys. Story. We didn't get to chat about him too much on the tight end show because he wasn't drafted for some reason. Why?
I read
22 tight ends went drafted. 22 tight ends were drafted, guys, and Michael Trigg was not one of them. Story, you had him as your 5th rated tight end. He was the guy I originally debated having as my number 2 tight end. And then as some of the stories came in and the lack of combine stuff he did, he showed up there in his 27-inch vertical, which was concerning. I still love Michael Trigg. What the hell? Why was he undrafted in a class at 22 when drafted? It was just wild to me because they all wanted blockers, not a guy that actually is a dynamic playmaker.
I think a lot of it boils down to, if we're taking a position that has one specific need in that you got to be able to block. Like, look at every single guy that was drafted. Like, they do have at least some blocking ability. Trigg, just didn't show the effort on the field in Baylor. And I think that's why he went undrafted. But the guy's pass catching is top end in this draft class. And it sucks that he went undrafted.
Yeah, it really did suck. All right, buddy. I think we covered pretty much everyone. We didn't cover. I think we could talk about for 1 second Deion Burks, who's Mr. Irrelevant in this wide receiver class. A lot of people had Deion Burks as a 3rd round pick. What in the world? Like, what value? The Bears pick, the Dolphins first receiver they took. Like, why not take Deion Burks, who is, he has the cautionary tale of a guy that's small and ran really fast, but like really good 40, really good film. 7th round pick to the Colts. This is a great spot because Josh Downs has not been the mark of health, and Alec Pierce is way overpaid. And I guess you have Tyler Warren as the one there if you want to count that. But this is a great spot this is a better spot than almost everyone above him until the 3rd round.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Colts were surprised to see that Burks was still on the field or on the board. Like, he's a speedster. Like you said, like go look at Xavier Thomas, and you could find tons of clips of him being outstanding. But wouldn't you rather have had Deon Burks, who actually had production in college, as opposed to Xavier Thomas, who was an afterthought for most teams? He plays with really impressive speed, and I think that's a really valuable part of this game. Daniel Jones does have a good deep ball. You got to hope that the Achilles tear didn't kind of sap that. There's going to be times when Burks pops off for a long, a 60-yard touchdown, and it's going to be amazing. It's not going to be consistent, though. That's the problem. And I don't even think he's like, going to be tough to crack that line. Tough to crack your lineup.
Todd says, yep, it's Dak's fault. Jerry traded the best defender on the team 3 days before the season and had the 30th ranked defense in the league. It was awful. And it's not, again, we're going to disagree on that. You like Jalen Hurts apparently more than I do, but Dak's a better quarterback, and Jalen Hurts has the tush push and all those kind of things. But like, give me Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, same kind of situation. These guys are fine. It wasn't their fault, right? It's never been their fault. It's been Jerry Jones' fault. That's been the fucking disconnect, and the fact that his ego gets in the way of all these things.
What was it? The 39th ranked defense that only put up 17 points against the hapless New York Football Giants in Week 18? Was it the 39th ranked defense that only put up 17?
The season was over.
Okay. Season was over.
Stop talking shit about 17, fucking Dak Prescott.
17 points against Arizona. Was it the defense that scored 14 points against the Bears in Week 3 or 4 or whatever it was when everybody was healthy? Was it the defense then? I'm sick of hearing about how terrible the defense was and how the defense cost them everything. Dak's a choker. First and foremost, the guy can't win the big games. He can't put a consistent play on the field. He's done. He's a bum. He'll never win anything. That whole organization is cursed until Jerry Jones either sells it or dies.
It's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids.
What do you mean?
Your daughter marries a black man.
That's actually not a big deal for me.
Yeah, me neither.
What? You really?
Yeah, I mean, well, what's wrong with that?
No, nothing. It's nothing, I guess. I think it's great. Congratulations.
I don't think I'm comfortable around you anymore.
Did you know peanut butter was invented by a black man?
Too late, Doc.
Did you know Dak Prescott threw for 30 touchdowns last year? Oh, God. Here comes Dakota. Thank you for the super sticker, by the way. Sorry, you just described Josh Allen.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Allen's all that in a bag of chips either. Like, oh, great. We got a Wyoming boy.
Now you're hating on quarterbacks? Dude.
Not hating on quarterbacks. I'm sick of the hate that Jalen Hurts is getting because of the franchise let him down last year, as opposed to like we're gonna glaze Josh Allen when he can't get past like anybody in the playoffs. And his problem is like he won't stick in the pocket and actually make plays happen. He'd rather take off and let his legs do the work. That's his problem.
Impressive hate, man. Impressive hate. I love it. All right, I'm going to let you out on this one. We're going to do an underdog best ball draft. But, guys, I have a little bathroom emergency I have to attend to. So, since Story's leaving, I'm going to start a new stream for underdog. Give me 10 minutes, guys, and you'll see it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel, and then I'll start the new show up in 10 minutes. We'll do an underdog draft. Draft with us, Dakota. Taj, if you want to draft with us, if you do underdog, JD, whoever wants to get in, we'll time it up together. Give me 10 minutes. And I had to take a shit. I had to take a massive shit. So I don't want to have to hold this in. My picks will be terrible. But Mike Story, you're the man. Guys, look for the new stream here, 10 minutes. Go to the channel, and you will see it. Sorry for the 10-minute delay. I really, really have to take a shit. So I have to go. Yeah, poop emoji. It's going to be a lot of those little like rabbit turds, but also maybe some liquid. So
good luck. Sounds amazing.
Yeah, don't hit on Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL, just so you know. So Story can't give you that because all the quarterbacks suck, so there is no best quarterback in the NFL. It's not Patrick Mahomes. He's been awful the last 3 years, dude.
I'm not disagreeing that. I'm sick of hearing about how
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it then?
Jackson.
It's not Josh. Is it Lamar Jackson who can't win a playoff game? Get the fuck out of here. No, I love Lamar Jackson. It's not Lamar over Josh Allen. You crazy, crazy son of a bitch. Story. Hell of a show as always, man. My dad, like I said, my dad's watched every show since not even the stream started. And the streams, we've had 300 now. We had about 300 episodes prior to the stream starting. My dad's watched all 600 shows. And he always says, anytime story's on, is must-watch TV. He watches everyone, but he knows real GOAT when it happens. So you are the real GOAT, man. You make me even seem better than I already am. Pat on my own back because I'm the best fucking host ever. But you are really the man. Besides your hating on coaches and shit, you son of a bitch.
We'll get back to it next time. Thanks. Good luck in the draft, everyone.